You are being recorded.
Thank you.
I like how they phrase that warning. Avoid legal snags.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to break the law.
That would be good.
It's exactly noon, but I'm going to give people 2 more minutes to show up before I start. All right. It has been precisely 2 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hi, for those I haven't met, my name's Zach. I'm a PM on the PowerShell team, and I'm going to be running the meeting today. Katie's still on the call. She's still here. She hasn't disappeared. We're just shifting around some responsibilities to make things move around more effectively. So, hi, I'm ZJ Alexander on GitHub. You will primarily see me working out of the docs repo since that's one of my areas of responsibility. But in general, I'm concerned with community and making sure our community runs smoothly. Hello. So, we have a couple of modules that we have released today. We have 11 modules that are going to be released on 5:30. So we have an update to PS DSC resources, SharePoint or security policy, SharePoint, certificate, computer management, CRED SSP, DFS, Exchange, networking, SQL Server, and storage. Does anyone have any questions about those releases? Okay, that's a no. Great. We also released X storage is breaking. Oh, okay. Thank you. I'll take a note and make sure that's included in the comments. We also have a new DSC configurations repo. About 2 months ago, we stopped in to just kind of tell you what we were thinking with it. So it's at PowerShell/DSC configurations. So this is basically a best practice guide to how to publish DSC configurations to the gallery. We have a couple of ways explaining how we think the best way to do it is, and some examples, I believe. Michael, you're online. Did you want to talk about this at all, or do you want me to just kind of go through the numbers on it?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, this is Michael. For the configurations repo, any feedback is greatly appreciated. We definitely could use help writing documentation. So if you're looking a place to jump in, that would be absolutely wonderful. But in general, it's pretty well laid out there in the README how we want to package up configurations. Unfortunately, today I'm traveling, so it's not a great day for me to demo exactly how it would be accomplished. But essentially, you just take your configuration script and pair it with a module that is basically a payload module. So whenever you publish your configuration, you would list that module as a dependency for the script, and your module is just going to contain the tests that should be run that you would expect to be used to test that script, any documentation you want to include, and then a manifest. You don't have to include a PSM1 file, but the manifest is where you can actually provide meta information about what version of the script, or what version of the configuration you're publishing, who wrote it, if there's any requirements for additional modules, if there's requirements for versions of the runtime, things like that. And that way, whenever you run the scripts, it will automatically have the module load, and then the module will express dependencies on any DSC resource modules that would be needed for the configuration. And that kind of ties everything together very nicely. So it works pretty well. There is a test repo, although it's very focused on testing on Azure, that you can use for testing the quality of the configurations. And at this point, we mostly just need people to kind of take on authoring and start publishing end-to-end scenarios as configurations into the gallery. And one of the major differences between the DSC resources repo and the new DSC configurations repo, in the past, whatever a resource module had been reviewed by the community, the last step of the contribution was transferring ownership of that resource to the PowerShell team. And we're going to try a different approach for configurations. We'd actually like the original author to maintain ownership, but I think the right process is going to be to use this community call for discussion, and then even use the issues list in that DSC configurations repo as a central place where we could ask the community to provide feedback, say, hey, I've got this new work item, it's a configuration that handles DNS or IIS, etc. And I'd really like some feedback, and let people kind of respond back to you within your original repo, but that makes it discoverable into a centralized location. And then the last step of the contribution, instead of being handed off, would just be to get it published in the gallery. So we've got a little ways to go, I think, before we feel like this is really happening and things are moving at a good pace, but we've got a pretty good start. Any questions or discussion about configuration sharing?
Cool. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thanks.
All right, and then the last thing I have on the agenda formally is some issues with DSC resources with Windows 10 Creators Update, and I'm actually going to hand that off to Katie for a discussion.
Sorry, just to jump in, I think it's really good to hear that we've got a kind of a way forward for sharing all of these configurations going forward. I think this is what we've been needing to have for a while, and I know we discussed this. Sorry, just so you know, it's Ryan Yates. Just jumping in there. I just think it's really great to see that you've got a way forward with it, and I like the way that you've gone with it.
Oh, great! Thank you so much. We really appreciate that feedback, and thank you as well, Daniel. We definitely look forward to having you guys take a look at it now that it's public, and filing issues, and publishing or using it as templates for your own development. And I'm again more than happy to have people who've been like, hey, here are completed configurations. I'm more than happy to have you on the agenda for this call and just kind of be like, hey, here's the scenario that I deployed with DSC. Here it is on the gallery, so that we can all be aware of what's going on in the ecosystem. All right. So with that, Katie,
Yes.
you have the floor.
All right, so we had some issues filed in DSC Resources that alerted us to the fact that the Windows 10 Creators Update breaks DSC Resources. It is a problem. We have confirmed it. DSC Resources won't work at all if you get the Windows 10 Creators Update. As far as I know, it's not affecting any other versions of Windows, so it won't affect Windows Server 2016. But if you do get the Creators Update for Windows 10, the only option is to change the resources used in your scripts at the moment. It was an internal build problem. Basically, the right DSC code didn't end up where it needed to be for this update. So we already have a fix. It's already been accepted by Windows. And the fix for Windows 10 will be going out in mid-June. Separate from that issue, there is also a bug in PS desired state configuration, which is the built-in resource module in DSC in the Windows 10 Creators Update. For that, there are only 4 resources that won't work. There are archive, group, service, and Windows process. All the other resources shouldn't be affected. But that is a separate issue, and we do not have a fix for Windows yet. Any questions? All right. That's it for me.
Thank you very much, Katie.
Mm-hmm.
So there were 2 issues that came up in the GitHub repo that I didn't have time to link into the agenda. Both were raised by Daniel, I believe. The first was a question of documentation, as specifically around XSQL Server. I'll reply back to the issue, but where we're going with so the issue was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, hey, XSQL Server has some really good documentation. We would like for it to live side by side with kind of like the DSC documentation on MSDN. Can we have that into the PowerShell docs repo? So I talked about it with the docs team, and here's where we're going with the PowerShell documentation. We are, as PowerShell 6 is showing, we're trying to break apart some of the functionality into discrete modules, and keep those modules separate and allow those modules to own their own documentation. So with that in mind, we think that the best thing for people to do is to continue documenting their own resources, keep it in that repo, link to the documentation from the gallery, and that way the documentation stays with the module. It's all in the same place. So that's closest to what we're thinking about for now, and we can continue to discuss it. I thought it was a really intriguing idea. Just working through it, I'm not sure that fits with our priorities right now. But again, totally open to that. Happy to discuss. And then the other thing. Oh, I'll let people finish if they have any responses to that.
I could talk instead. I find the issue, and I think it's a good approach. So then we continue making more blog-style documentation in the SQL Server instead, and link it from the PowerShell gallery instead. So it's okay.
Great.
That will work.
Perfect. And then someone asked me to. I gotta actually check what the literal issue was that I responded to like yesterday or 2 days ago with the agenda, maybe. Oh, okay. So that's the issue. Oh, you're right. And then the other, I have to check my notifications. Sorry about that. Maybe it was here. Okay. I will be changing the community call folders over to the new format. And boy, I don't remember what the other issue I was tagged in was, but I will find it and follow up afterwards. So with that, that's everything I have on my agenda. Does anyone have anything on their agenda that they wanted? Oh, high quality resource modules. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So yes, that's the issue. The issue is high quality resource modules. We know we're underwater, and we understand. Like at this point, the backlog is so large that we took a look at the effort it would take to clean it up, and it's a ton of work. We know we are very seriously underwater. So what I'm doing is I'm thinking about ways that we can just get some help on this, and so I want to start. There's a couple of different problems here. One is just our team doesn't necessarily have the expertise to go in and review stuff like web development, or I'm going to use SQL Server as an example as well. And the thing with SQL Server is, we have you guys to come in and help us maintain it and provide that expertise, and that's really helpful. So there's two separate issues. One is bringing modules to HQRM, and then the other is just like reviewing all of the stuff that's all the issues, all the pull requests, all that kind of thing. So I'm going to be reaching out internally to a lot of Microsoft internal partners to say like, hey guys, we have this really valuable community resource. We really want you to be able to help out here. Customers are using this. We have usage statistics. They're extremely, extremely useful. We have download numbers from the PowerShell gallery. We want to be able to bring that in front of teams and say, hey, people are really using this, and we need your expertise to help us out. So that's going to be a process that I'm starting, and I want to be able to bring in Microsoft people who know what's going on and have them kind of help us out with ownership. Right. Yes. Thank you, Daniel. That's exactly it. The high quality resource standard, I think, is the right standard to say that this is high quality. But the other part of this is that the way we treat X resources right now is a little too harsh. We basically say, don't use X resources in production. And that is something that is helpful for us because we say, no, seriously, they're not supported. We can point you to documentation, but that scares a lot of people off from using DSC altogether. So we kind of want to soften those guidelines as well. I'm thinking of a multi-pronged approach because this is a deep problem with a lot of different issues. I want to think about different ways that we can tackle it. And so the technical validity is something where we want to pull in people from the community. The high quality resource module, as you've experienced, I'm sure, when we had a couple of internal teams go through it, they spent, a month just bringing it up to that standard. That's a harsh, rigorous standard that takes a lot of time to review, and that might be the right thing to do for it. But we're just going to be thinking about that process and how we want to handle it. I don't have a good answer for that right now today. But hopefully the people who do the technical validation will also be equipped to help out with, enforcing that standard. Do you get? Yeah, I'll let you give any feedback there before I move on. Yes, still on the cards. But the other thing is, we do have a huge backlog of existing people asking for, hey, like I want to include this in the PSDSC resources, and that's the thing that I'm kind of thinking about most carefully. So yeah, absolutely. For stuff that's already in the resource kit, yeah, bringing that up to high quality resource modules is a great thing to do. But for resources that aren't in the resource kit yet, I'm just really hesitant because we have such a bad backlog with the things we do have. I think that we're going to be using the DSC configuration. We're going to be using the DSC configuration process that Michael discussed, where hey, instead of publishing your configurations to us, put them on the gallery. And that's the approach we're starting to explore with DSC resources, that they should live in people's own repos and on the gallery. And it's just a question of, okay, right now there's a lot of benefits that come with being in the res kit. How do we kind of spread those benefits out? And that's stuff that's we're also discussing. There might be a little bit of work that we put into it, whether it's documenting our processes and opening that up for people to kind of move it to their repo, or making it possible, making your contributions on the gallery more visible or more trustable. So that's the general gist of what I'm thinking. Still kind of in the planning stage, but yeah, it's a hot issue on our radar, and we are working on it. Cool. Does anyone have any other questions or things to add? All right. Well, thanks everyone for your time. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all next month.
Cheers, thank you guys.
Thanks, Zach.